going on? We are back in black in the building. Shout out to everybody out there in the Core Plantation. Do what they need to do to survive. Shout out to James Youngblood, Dave for No Compromise, Shawnee, Philly in the building, Erica, Florida in the building, Tasha, Mariah, Miss Tanya, Latanya. Man, all y'all out there, man. Hey, man, James Youngblood, Dave for No Compromise. We definitely got to do a podcast on this. We got to do some type of live on that. Y'all just hit me up. I know the time difference is different. Shout out again to my brother David. Man, David, we got to get this together, bro, because I really want to talk about this because I know you got knowledge of this shit. You too, James Youngblood, man. We got to get it together. Man, we are back. The forever chemicals in our body. Remember how I've been talking about Dr. Claude Anderson saying there's going to be a famine, there's going to be a shortage of water and supplies. Now they're going to hit you from the other side. They've been hitting us from this side for the longest, and now we're going to speak up on it. The forever chemicals in the water. Let's get into it. Hey. Man. Here, I want to play this so we can just hear a little bit of it.
You may have never heard of PFAS, but you're likely to have these potentially dangerous chemicals inside your body. Perfluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl are substances that are known as forever chemicals.
PFAS, forever chemicals.
These synthetic chemicals were developed in the 1940s and are used to repel oil.
Developed in the 1940s.
And water. They make consumer items non-stick, waterproof, stain resistant, and they're found in many products you likely use. Some obvious, non-stick cookware, waterproof clothing, but also in things you may not necessarily realize. Dental floss, pizza boxes, microwave popcorn bags, even makeup and sunscreen. Now, over the last several decades, these chemicals have been developed at this breakneck pace. There's now more than 9,000 PFAS-related chemicals to date, and again, they're called forever chemicals.
PFAS chemicals, forever chemicals.
Because they don't break down completely, meaning the same properties that make these chemicals so durable also make them extremely hard to get rid of, meaning they accumulate in the environment, in animals, and yes, they accumulate in us, humans. Thousands of communities across the United
Did you hear that?
States have drinking water that is contaminated with PFAS, and as a result, more than 200 million Americans could have toxic PFAS in their drinking water, according to
PFAS found in drinking water, forever chemicals that make it hard to break down in your system.
the Environmental Working Group. Now here's the thing, nearly all people have a measurable level of PFAS in their bodies.
That doesn't mean that it's right.
In fact, it's estimated that 98% of the US population has some level of PFAS contamination, and for individuals exposed on a regular basis, the chemicals build up cumulatively. Now I want to be clear, these are relatively early days, and we still don't
These ain't early days.
fully understand the extent of the threat posed.
If you said this was made in 1940s, and it has been said that technology quadruples like every month or whatever, you should find something to replace these forever chemicals with nice, non-harmful things that could cleanse the water.
By these chemicals. PFAS have been linked to cancer and kidney and liver damage and other serious health problems in people with prolonged exposure. As for reversing the damage that has already been done, water treatment is expensive at scale. It's even harder, if not impossible, to remove PFAS from soil or the environment. But here's what you can do until a cheaper, more effective solution is found. You can avoid stain and water-resistant products and sprays. If you order delivery or takeout from restaurants, remove your food from takeout containers before reheating. When cooking at home, steer clear of non-stick cookware and filter your drinking water with activated carbon or reverse osmosis if possible.
Okay, all right. Let's get the music going. Oh, haven't I been telling y'all? You don't trust the United States of America Incorporated. If they enslaved us 500 years, what makes you think they would give you good drinking water? As the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said in The Fall of America, you go to these politicians to save y'all. These politicians ain't gonna save you. These politicians are gonna save themselves. We have to understand what's been going on. I need everybody to spread the word, go get Medical Apartheid by Harriet Washington. That will break down all the natural things that they have tried to do to kill us intravenously through food, air, water. It is so funny, man. I've drinking water in California has always been nasty. Drinking water in Vegas is harsh and nasty. And you go to other parts of the country that, you know, they depend on their own water supply. They don't share their water with anyone. Their water's probably a little better. You know, Denver's water was okay. Boise's water was very clean and very, they hardly had any PFAS in it. And you can kind of tell because they got aquifers under the ground, which is basically like hot springs of water under the ground. You just got to treat it with a water plant. They got a lot of water wells out there. So there's places, any place where there's water wells, the water will be naturally cleaner and doesn't have to be treated because it's not being distributed all over the city. That water well probably supplies like 6 or 7 or maybe a community or two of water. I don't know a lot. I'm not a professional on it, but I kind of been doing a little bit of research ever since the alkalinity of water. You know, you start to do a little bit of research. You have to understand, man, read Medical Apartheid, man. This is nothing new to me. You know, of course they're going to have a famine of regular alkaline water or spring water. You know why? Because that water is actually healthy for you. You know, if they can get you to just drink regular drinking water that comes from the tap, that'll destroy you and that'll kill you. And I don't know how long it's going to take for us to understand that we're on the same team and we are fighting racism and white supremacy. And if you're not trying to establish a system of justice, I don't know what the hell you're doing. But I'm going to tell you right now, Forever Chemicals, looks like this is no joke. Here, let me see. Traverse City, Michigan. Drinking water from nearly half of U.S. faucets likely contain forever chemicals that may cause cancer and other health problems, according to a government study released Wednesday. The synthetic compounds known collectively as PFAS are contaminating drinking water to varying extents in large cities and small towns, in private wells and public systems, the U.S. Geological Survey said. You notice they put wells in there. Researchers described the study as the first nationwide effort to test for PFAS in tap water from private sources in addition to regulated ones. It builds on previous scientific findings that the chemicals are widespread, showing up in customers' products as diverse as non-stick pans, food packaging, and water-resistant clothing, and making their way into water supplies. Because the USGS is a scientific research agency, the report makes no policy recommendations, but the information can be used to evaluate risk of exposure and inform decisions about whether or not you want to treat your drinking water, get it tested, or get more information from your state about the situation locally, said lead author Kelly Smalling, a research hydrologist. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency in March proposed the first federal drinking water limits on 6 forms of PFAS, or per and polyfluorinated substances, which remain in the human bodies for years and don't degrade in the environment. A final decision is expected later this year or in 2024. But the government hasn't prohibited companies using the chemicals from dumping into public waterway systems, said Scott Faber, a senior vice president of the Environmental Working Group and advocacy organization. We should be treating this problem where it begins instead of putting up a stoplight after the incident, he said. We should be requiring polluters to treat their own waste. Oh man, studies of lab animals have found potential links between PFAS chemicals and some cancers, including kidney and testicular, plus issues such as high blood pressure and low birth rates. Federal and state programs typically measure exposure to pollutants such as PFAS at water treatment plants or groundwater wells that supply them. Smalling said, in contrast, the USGS report has based on samples from taps in 716 locations, including 447 that rely on public supplies and 269 using private wells. The samples were taken between 2016 and 2021 in a range of locations, mostly residencies, but also a few schools and offices. They include protected lands such as national parks, residential and rural areas with no identified PFAS sources, and urban centers with studies with industry or waste sites known to generate PFAS. Most taps were sampled just once. 3 were sampled multiple times over a 3-month period, with results changing little, Smalling said. Scientists tested for 32 PFAS compounds, most of the ones detectable through available methods. Thousands of others are believed to exist but can't be spotted with current technology, Smalling said. The types found most often were PFBS, PFHXS, and PFOA. Also making frequent appearances was PFOS, one of the most common nationwide. Positive samples contain as many as 9 varieties, although most were closer to 2. The median concentration was around 7 parts per trillion for all 32 PFAS types. Although PFAS is about 4 parts per trillion, the limit EPA has proposed for these 2 compounds. The heaviest exposure were in cities and near potential sources of the compounds, particularly in the eastern seaboard, Great Lakes, Great Plains, urban cities, and Central and Southern California. Many of the tests, mostly rural areas, found no PFAS. Based on the data, research estimated that at least one form of PFAS could be found in about 45% of tap water samples nationwide. The study underscores that private well users should have their water tested for PFAS and consider installing filters, said Faber for the Environmental Working Group. Filters containing activated carbon or reverse osmosis membranes can remove the compounds. The USGS study is further evidence that the PFAS is incredibly pervasive, and folks who rely on private wells are particularly vulnerable to the harms caused by these chemicals. Wow. All right, let's get into it. Medical apartheid is here, ladies and gentlemen. What are you going to do about it? Let's embrace solutions. You might want to get a reverse osmosis, but I've heard if you get a reverse osmosis, it removes the natural minerals that are in the water that you need. So it's like you're fucked either way. Yes, you better pay attention to the water. I would suggest you get spring water, which has a natural pH balance of 7, or try to get you some alkaline water. We know alkaline water is very expensive, and it can become even more expensive as time goes on. If you can't, they sell not alkaline water. Alkaline water is expensive, but they sell spring water for like 99 cents a gallon. People don't even know spring water's natural pH balance of 7.5. If you want to raise your alkalinity, you can also get what is called, and I am blanking on this right now, but there's a lot of things you can do to treat your water. Like I said, you can get reverse osmosis. You can start taking activated charcoal pills. It takes all the waste in your food and your water, and it combines it together. You know what I mean? And you can pass it through your body as well. You could take, there's so many things we could do. We just got to start embracing solutions. I just think I'm tripping right now. The reason why I'm tripping right now, because I'm kind of reading other articles as, as I, read it, but I'm tripping because I'm like, wow, Dr. Claude Anderson was saying it, and Harriet Washington from Medical Apartheid has been talking about this shit. So it's like, that's crazy that now it's actually happening, and I just wish that we would wake up, and it kind of brings sadness, to my heart, because it's like, wow, the United States of America, they will do whatever it can, to genetically annihilate us. You notice they said urban areas. Of course they're gonna put it in urban. If you read Medical Apartheid, that's what they was doing the whole time. There's certain, like I said, we gotta embrace solutions, and there's certain things we can do, like I said, to treat, our water. And I'm blanking right now. Normally I remember all this stuff, but when I'm actually doing it, I'm reading. I guess it's an overflow of information. But it's very, very sad. Forever Chemicals And I've always known that they put stuff in the water. Water tastes nasty, tastes disgusting. California's water is disgusting. Vegas water is disgusting. So I already knew that. And Arizona's water is probably disgusting. We all get it from Lake Mead. You know, so, you know, it's just sad, man. It really is. It is sad. Because, here, I'm typing in. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. You can also, if you have regular water, you can also take a pinch of Arm & Hammer's baking soda, and you can put a little bit of pinch of baking soda in your water. You're like, what do you mean? If you don't know, turn the baking soda around and look. It's an antacid. So basically, it raises the alkalinity level of the water. So you know how when you go to the doctor, you're like, oh man, my stomach hurt, and they give you antacid tablets and all this other stuff. You don't need to do, all you got to do is go, because what's in that is in baking soda. You know what I mean? And we use, I ain't using baking soda. Well, then don't eat cake or nothing, because that's what baking soda is for. But it's actually an antacid. If you turn it around, you put in, it'll tell you put a little bit of water in there, you're good. But we have to come up with new and inventive ideas to keep us safe from the toxicity that's going around in the food, the water. They put atrazine in the water, chlorine, and their excuse is always, oh, we gotta treat the water, Well, if technology is so advanced, you can't find another way to treat the water. Plus, when you live in these major cities, they're really dumping chemicals in the water. You're like, well, Warren, why are you talking about this? Because if they're doing it to the American people, they're gonna do it to us first. So you better be understanding what I'm talking about. So they're gonna do it in the big major areas that are heavily populated with foundational Black Americans. You gotta read Medical Apartheid, because that's what they was doing. They was infecting mosquitoes with all kinds of diseases and dropping them over tropical, areas where they know was heavily populated with Black folk. Oh, they was doing horrible stuff. The book is horrible. Don't read that book at night. I don't suggest it. But anyway, go look up Forever Chemicals. Go do your own research and see what I'm talking about. Because this is what they're doing to the American people. This is what I mean by racism, white supremacy. They dominate all areas of people activity, 9 areas of them. As Dr. Francis Cress Welsing talks about, as Neely Fuller Jr. talks about, you have to understand those areas that they dominate. Economics, labor, law, war, religion, education, entertainment, you know what I mean? Sex. How do they dominate war? Well, this is medical warfare now, mental warfare now. They're putting it in the food so you can be chemically imbalanced. They're putting it in the water. What's the best way to get to people? Resources. Let's tear up the water and tear up the food, and let's see if they survive. Oh shit, they still surviving? Okay, but let's put more shit in the food. That's why, that's why I highly suggest you go get or find a natural herbalist that has these herbs that can help you fight off a lot of these illnesses and bullshit like that. Go get these things, because these things are very important. Get you some sea moss in your life. Get you some real stuff. That's why, me personally, a lot of people that make sea moss, they don't want to see me come around, because I'm going to put them on blast, because sea moss has to be made with alkaline, or if it's not alkaline water, it has to be, not drinking water, not sink water. You know what I mean? It's got to have water that has a natural pH balance of 7.5 or higher. You know what I mean? So I would highly suggest you do your research wherever you're getting your sea moss from, wherever, you know what I mean, you're getting your food from. You can't research everything, but especially the water. And the reason why I'm talking about this right now, I'm reading articles as I'm talking about this right now. The reason why I'm talking about it right now is because I think it's very important that we understand that they will attack you through water and through food. Like I said, I see all you niggas lined up at Chick-fil-A. Where are they getting their chicken from? Because I know they're not. Look on the back, say, are you getting this from a local farm? They're going to be like, local farm? We all over the United States of America. Exactly. Look it in and out. There ain't no way that's real beef. There's no way that's real beef. Just no way. You would have to slaughter 150,000 cows a day. So I know that's meat glue. We just need to understand what we're doing, where we're going, and what's going on. And understand that this is medical apartheid. Do the research for yourself for every chemicals. Black folk, stop drinking out of water hoses. Stop drinking out of the fire hydrants. Stop drinking the water at the school through the little water fountain. That all has PFAS, forever chemicals in it. Don't drink that. That water is nasty. Just because they say it's drinking water doesn't mean it's healthy for you. These things could cause chemical imbalances in our young children. Like I said, this is a medical apartheid 2.0. I'm out, y'all. Guilty, nigga. Peace.